you showed up. Good to see you, folks. Who's here? I look over at the comments. Hello, Velmar. Good to see you. And is that Taylor I hear in the background?
Yep, I'm here.
I knew you were. I can't see you, but I knew you were.
I
Hey,
am
I hear
here.
you had a big event happen this last
I
week or two.
did. I got married.
What? Oh, and we don't get to see you in the wedding dress, even just a
No.
snapshot. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Doesn't matter who the guy is, he's a lucky guy. Presuming it's a guy. I'm making a
It
lot of
is.
presumptions here. Hi, folks. This is Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're here every Thursday to talk to you about stocks you're interested in. And we don't have a lot of people here, but this is being recorded, so it doesn't matter if you're late. But get here soon so we can look at some more. I do have two tickers all lined up for us. One came from Velmore. You can count on her to bring us some hot stocks. And then I got another one from Don Claddy. Did I remember it right? This comes from YouTube. So why don't we jump on into this right now? And let's see, where am I at here? All right, we're going to look at Don's first. Don brought this to my attention, brought a few key facts to me so that I would have a little bit of information, because when I'm doing this, in my videos, I take about 10 to 12 minutes to cover each one, and that's not a deep dive, but it's enough to look at each section. Here, we're doing maybe 5-6 minutes. So, if I have a heads up on what it is that's got it moving or something that, would just make it easier, throw that in the comments so that everybody can know. So we are looking at NNDM, Nano Dimension. Finished today at $2.75 at about 14.5% gains. We got a penny stock on the NASDAQ. We love these major exchange penny stocks because you don't have to pay anything to trade them. And it really does make a big difference. Not to mention the major exchange has a lot more volume than the OTC does and a lot more money. So this company's pretty interesting. It's a Nano Dimension is a 3D printing company, and they work with a special ink that's made out of silver that solidifies into metal. And what they actually print are computer chips, circuit boards. And they do this in one shot. One shot, every single piece is made, and you have a complete circuit board. And the neat thing is they are selling these printers so that you can put them in your home and your office. But they've got some situation going on right now. I was looking, matter of fact, I got a picture here, not there, right there. That is their most recent one, the Dragonfly 4. This is a 3D printer, and these are the sort of products it makes. Now, we used to have to get the board, solder this, solder that, lay a wire. Now it does it all in one piece. Very interesting stuff. So they are trying, I seen something with a patent problem. I didn't keep that picture, but they said they were having a problem in this they were working on. This is really doing what they want it to do. It's a hot product. I think we had some news over here about it. Let's see if I got that already pulled up for us. Well, since we're here, he wanted to point out that they have got more money in the bank than they are worth market cap. They got $685 million in the bank. We got 3 zeros up here. You got to put behind any of the numbers. Total assets is $1.2 billion. Half of that is in cash, and they've only got $53 million in liabilities. So when you look over at the income, you can see their market cap. Where is that? Oh, we got to go over to share structure right there. 623 million. So they've got more in cash than they have in market cap. Float, I don't know what it is. Outstanding shares is 258. It could be anywhere from 258 down. Could be a low float, but I wouldn't cross my fingers on that. Relative volume today was extreme. We got about close to 400 times their normal volume, going from 2.2 to 8.7. Financials, yeah, I wanted to see if they were increasing. Oh, the NASDAQ gives us their financials differently. I normally don't see quarterlies brought over here, but I'm sure that they are available. Any disclosures here? Yeah, we had one come out today. I wonder if this is about their financials. Yes, this is the one I've already got highlighted over here. Their financials are good. Nano Dimension announces record Q1 2023 results with revenues of almost 15 million. That's a 43% growth. Their gross margins increased by 44%, best quarter in the company's history. 50% organic growth. That's new business. Company plans to continue its share buyback program. I haven't dived into that. I don't know how many they're buying back, but the more they buy back, the more value you get in your shares. So that's a great thing. I do believe we've covered everything here except the charts. And from what I understand, the charts are showing some heat. Is that the case?
It is. Yep.
Now I got to bump you.
Yep. You gotta
I'm
turn it on here.
There
we
you go.
Okay. So, like always, let me see. Start this on the daily chart before I go back down to the 4-hour. So obviously, this is what happened today. We just had a big gap up right here. The issue I always see is, we do have this gap here. And as you know, these stocks love to fill these gaps.
Yep.
I'm not sure as much about the penny stock, but this one is, this one's been respecting this downward channel for a while. We had, here, resistance, and then we just gapped up completely, just obliterated that. But we do have this gap, okay? So this is where, if you are long on this, I would say, if it does come back down here, it might just come back down to retest and then continue, because we did jump completely over this 200 MA on the daily chart. And these gaps, I was looking back here, it does like to fill these gaps. There was one way back here, it did finally fill it. Like here's one, it did come back to fill it. We've had some gap up, and it did continue. The last time it gapped up pretty hard, but did this here. It did fill this gap. Now down to the 4-hour.
Seems to be suckling up to that 50-day SMA. Really hanging close to it on both sides.
Mm-hmm. The 4-hour looks even better. I really like how, we've had this resistance here on the 200 MA, and then now it just completely passed
obliterated it.
Yeah, completely. I mean, this could absolutely continue, but that daily gap is the one thing that I would be, looking for. But it could definitely just come back and retest that trend line on this daily chart. If it does, it could still absolutely continue. I guess it had really good earnings. I clicked on this a little bit ago, 14%. So. Yes. Even before the earnings, I noticed all this relative low here at 216 all the way up to here. That was more than a 25% move in just the last few days, starting this Monday. So I mean, that's quite a move, 27% or 25% or so.
And it's broke that channel. I mean, it's
completely
out of there.
Broke out of it. Yep, completely. Another thing I like is this. We've had several of these golden crosses. There's two right there. About to have another one right here. On the 4-hour, this is the 9, this is the 200, the yellow is the 21, and the green is the 50. Or, yeah, 50. No, the green is the 21, the yellow is the 50. I was just, so, these golden crosses, I mean, it was coming up for a move. I mean, we had some consolidation here, and it's been moving. The earnings, this huge amount of volume came in, and we're just completely flying. Looks really good.
So it's definitely one to keep on your watch list. But remember, on the OTC market, when these rockets appear, they shoot up and come down. That's not a steady climb. It's not secure. They're not building steps on the way up to settle on. They're going up and they're going to come down. So don't get greedy. Take your money, let this thing come back down, and then get another entry if you really like the company. If you think she's on an uptrend, even an uptrend has big drops. So, catch the highs and don't trust the OTC to be rocketing to the moon and never coming down. It's not the case.
For sure. If it does come back and retest this, it could definitely keep going. I mean, it could definitely come back down right here on this trend line here that I have. This was a really good resistance line. It could come back down, fill that gap, and then it could continue. For sure.
All right.
Keep an eye on that.
Jump on into the next one by Belmore. Always interested to see what Belmore brings us. There we go. All right, Belmore brought us now this one tricked me when I first looked at it. This is RMRK. We've been stumbling with this a few times. Rimrock Gold Corp. You think, oh, it's a mining company. No, it's not. And I'm a little confused. Now, I haven't done a deep dive here, but when you read all this description, it's about them working with CBD products and an aqua CBD coffee infused, stuff like that. Now, they do mention the big news that's going on right now. They may be into CBDs, but it doesn't look like they're into no mining. What we got here, though, is they've got a definitive agreement to acquire Blue Nutric Group, and that's actually in the news right now. This came out on the 30th, so it's about a month old. They're acquiring 100% of Blue Nutric Group. The completion date is set for June 30th. That would be tomorrow. Blue Nutric is an eco-friendly, groundbreaking company serving the algae farming community. Now, from what I could gather, algae is a food if you eat the right ones. It's like weeds. Weeds aren't bad. We used to eat a lot of weeds. We don't eat weeds anymore, but there's a lot of nutrition in weeds if you eat the right ones. Eat the wrong ones and you're in peril. Well, there's lots of good algae. Market is at 7.3 billion a year right now for it. And this company is going to harvest algae and start selling it. That is going to be their new business. Now, I'm not saying they're replacing what they were doing. I haven't done any due diligence. Most people just create multiple streams of revenue. And some reassurances here. I am over here at Twitter, and they talk about they are in like final days discussions closing this deal right now with them. But they give us some reassurances here. The company has never been a shell company, and it's not a shell company, and therefore it is not at risk of being delisted, in case you read anything anywhere. Also, they go on to say that the company's not initiating a reverse split. Whew, thank God. We love to hear that. And this is good. This doesn't just say we're not going to do one. It means they haven't got one sitting on the books waiting to be done. A lot of these smaller companies will vote on a reverse split when they think it's in their best interest, and they'll put it on the back burner and hold it for a year. And then they can use it at their discretion. 8-9 months later, when you get in and had no idea they voted on it, a freaking reverse split hits and you wake up with all your shares gone. I didn't see a news press. You won't. They don't have to retell you once it's voted on. So this kind of tells us they don't have one anywhere, which is always good to hear. So what sort of relative volume was around this company today? Egads, 186 million shares. I'm going to refresh this page because I want to see how many shares are on the whole market. 3.8 billion shares for the whole market. You're talking for 12,500 different companies. They got to divide 3.8 billion shares, which ain't squat. Ain't squat. That's like one roll of toilet paper for a football field of people. It ain't enough. So we've got a huge jump here. What is that? About 5 times their normal volume. Financials, are they actually making any money? No, they're not making any money, but they say they're not a shell company. They say they're not. Here it says shell risk. Well, a shell company means you're not doing business, so you don't have any money. Shell risk says we're in business, but we don't have any money. Either way, it's not good. However, shell risk is worse. They're supposed to be making money, so where's the money? Quick glance at their balance sheet. See if they're putting any in the bank. What the? They got nothing in the bank. Something's wrong here. I mean, these numbers are way too light. Nothing in the bank, no short-term investments, no inventory. Something's wrong here. I would jump into the most recent financial, and it's probably just a disclosure. You're not going to get much. This is a 0008 stock. Way cheap, folks. This is at least in a zone where I'll consider. You got to be over 0005 for me to really even think about it. Under that, it could be down there for months and years. Literally. These are the long hold stocks that you can buy millions of for just a couple $100. And if they do a reverse split, you're at least left with 20, 30,000 after the reverse split. Anything else we've got here? Disclosures? And no, we haven't got anything since 2018. So we're kind of dabbled on information here. They do have a verified profile and transfer agent, so that all looks good. Share structure is the last thing we need to look at, and it's horrible. I'm presuming these numbers are at least close. Looks like we got about 2.5 billion shares in the float. Now that does scream the possibility of a reverse split. but you rarely see anybody down at these prices do a reverse split. It's not going to do them any good. They're going to slide right on back down the hill and end up back down here and not have any shares. So I wouldn't worry about that happening now. But when they start getting up near a penny, you may want to think about that again. All right, let's take a look at that chart, see if it has any life. I see she jumped 15% today, which sounds like a good jump, but down at the triple zeros, that's not really a lot. Oh, I moved,
yeah. I'm here.
Yeah, and I'm here too.
Okay, so yeah, it did jump quite a bit, but you know, it's 100% from right here, so it's actually quite a bit. Actually,
yeah, that's a breakout.
Yeah, right here. So, and all of these EMAs are just one right after the other, which is amazing. This is very bullish right now. So I turned on the Heikin-Ashi candles. This is the 4-hour.
Yes. So thank you.
I mean, this is 100% move. It doesn't look like a lot if you just kind of zoom out, but that's a 100% move. Is still just mind-boggling to me how you could just get in right here at the 200 MA, and then,
but it's not uncommon on the OTC, and that is what we look for, just right at that 200, because that normally is where you get that run, like you see right there. That's beautiful. That's
what happened. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. It you know, went right past this. Now it did have some resistance before, but as soon as it crossed that, like you were saying, I think a couple weeks ago, see how this is flattening out. This 200 MA is flattening out. It just jumped right over top of it, came back down, retested it right here, and then just straight up.
And that's what I say in every video. We look for a bump into that 200 when it's still sloping down, and then when it goes flat, you look for the breakout. And
that's exactly what happened.
Atypical, boy. That's a beginner's chart right there.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Absolutely, and look perfect. At the volume. The volume.
Yeah, it even came back down to retest right here, and then just continued.
A little peg down there, stopped right on that 200 and pushed off of it. It was more of a launch than a directional push.
Yep,
I like that.
I like it too. Looks good. Lots of volume too.
Got enough volume coming in that she's still worth a watch. Normally, this is like 3 or 4 days after the time I like to watch it. But if you see the volume still coming in, if the water's still flowing, don't turn your back on it. As long as there's volume coming in, you got price activity. You got a chance of making good money.
Yep, this is over a week's worth of volume. I mean, it came back down and then just came right back up. It's still there. I mean,
yeah, it is.
What happened? Came all the way up to 0009 today, and now it's hovering right around 0008. Yep, completely bullish right after that flattened out. That was just absolutely perfect. If you were able to catch that, amazing. 100% move.
If you have room in your watch list, kick something off and put this one on. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. This comes from Jerome Horace, excuse me. This is Lucy. Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Lucy is, let's see what Lucy does here. I didn't get a chance to check out her business. All right, we'll just jump into a piece of news. Stay current, and you can get a current description of the company. Lucy is innovative eyewear developer, cutting-edge smart eyewear under the Lucid, Nautica, Eddie Bauer, and Reebok brands. Well, they're not half-stepping here, folks. These are the real things. These are going to be expensive glasses. Now, they say it's smart eyewear. Upgrade your eyewear with our Bluetooth audio glasses. You know, I'm going to do some more due diligence into this. I saw some glasses a while ago. They look like everyday normal glasses, and there's just a very small band that snaps on back here onto these glasses, and it's got everything. It's got the volume built in. There's a little tiny film that goes onto your glasses here that is actually something you can see pictures into, and it was like under $100. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? So we've got name brands here, innovative eyewear, and this is one of their pieces of news that is the catalyst right now. This came out yesterday. Innovative Eyewear Inc. announces partnership with Privado Duty Free. I got it over here, do I? Nah, right there. Privado will be creating Lucid Eyewear retail showcases in 7 of their company's airports. So it's just another deal. I don't know how many deals they've got going on right now. We're just looking at the surface here. got to go through all of this. Fashion show in Miami. I've got they're working with Chat GPT, of course, customer service. Everybody is. So I think they're probably a strong company. I think eyewear with those sort of names behind them, they're doing about $500,000 a year. It's not much growing. Had a bad quarter at the end of the year, doubled that. They're coming back, but gee whiz, they don't get to keep much of that money. $10,000 is what they got to keep. So all those products cost a lot. Let's see what their relative volume was today. Close to normal. They lost about 100,000 shares, dropping from 870 down to 770. Any disclosures? Secret weapon over here? 8Ks, material change. You never know what you're going to get. Look for that headline there. Oh, there's one. Entry into material definitive agreement. That's what I'm looking for. Then I look to see if it's a purchase agreement, if it's a merger, right up here. So they've got a purchase agreement. Now you got to see who's buying from who. Looks like, just from glancing at it, they've got somebody called the Maxim Group buying from them 4.5 million units, which means there's going to be 4.5 million more shares. There's going to be 4.5 million more warrants, which will convert into 4.5 million more shares down the road. You got to take all that into consideration if you're a long-term investor. Let's go on back, see if there's anything else recent. 424B4. And that's where they came from. So that's what this is about, the shares that they were selling. Anything else that we didn't cover here? How about the share structure? Woohoo! Real good news. We got a low float regardless of what it is, and I don't know what it is. Outstanding is 8.4 million. Anything under 10 million is a low float. So this is a low float, which should come into play on the charts when the volume comes in. And you got to keep that in mind. Low volume can move the chart just as fast down as it can up, maybe even faster. She finished the day at 86 cents with about 7.5% loss. She's a penny stock on the NASDAQ. Always consider any stock on the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange that goes under $1 is in hot water. They cannot stay under $1 for too long. Sometimes too long is 6 months. Sometimes it's 1 month. And then they get a warning from NASDAQ. Get your price up over $1 as if the company has a lot to do with it, or you're going to be thrown off and go down to the OTC. And we've been seeing a lot of that lately.
How long do they have to be under $1 until they get knocked off the NASDAQ?
What was that?
Like, how long do they have to be under $1 to?
It varies. Most of the time, I was under the presumption it's 6 months because that's what you standardly see. However, I've seen 30 days. I've seen 20 days. You were under $1 for 20 days and they got kicked off. Just saw a company kicked off yesterday for having less than 300 shareholders.
I see.
So they've got a lot of criteria. And right now, there's a lot of people abandoning the market. That's why volume's low. There's just not as many people here. We don't have the money to spend, and the market is not fun to play, especially if you haven't got any weapons to play with. So right now is a tough time on the market, and a lot of good stocks are falling just because of that. It has nothing to do with the company. It's market sentiment. It's economics. There's not enough baseball players on the field to play the game. All right, let's go take a look at Lucy. Hopefully I didn't miss anything there. I remember I got to put you over there. Ta-da.
Yep. So you can tell what happened here. So this hasn't been around too long. It IPO'd around August of 2022 last year. Okay. So hasn't been around long. You can see the 200 MA is so tiny because it hasn't been around that long. Right. So I've been minding these gaps. You can tell every time it gaps up, it's filled. Gapped up, completely filled. Now we have a gap to the downside. I'm looking for maybe around this 76 cents area as a support. It's where it came down last time. Now did you happen to see, you said something about 4.7 million, there was an offering. So
no, someone was buying. I think it was more of a direct offering rather than a public offering. Let me see.
This says public offering. That was on the 22nd.
Oh, so public. So that means that they've already put those on the market. Geez. So, and it's probably not even showing up yet. What did we read? 8.5 million, and they just put 4.5 million up there. So now we're at 12 million. I'm sure it's got to be updated. It couldn't have been at 4 million before. And then there's going to be another 4.5 million anywhere from 3 to 5 years down the road, or sooner, depending on how the stock
Yeah,
runs.
that's this part here. And then it says each unit can one share and one warrant to purchase. So
Yeah,
I'm not
one and one.
sure.
So for every 4.5, there's two. Just the warrants are delayed. They're just down the road.
So
But as
there's
I said, if you're
something.
a long-term investor, you got to consider that fact that those shares, if the price gets over the price, a warrant can be activated, even though they're good for 5 years, they may all be turned in a year. And if
Mhm.
you're in it, that may be good for you. You may have made some money too, because the stock has to rise to a certain price to activate them, but it's normally not worth it yet. The price has to go higher, and then you can buy a share for down here when the price is way up here. Well, it's a good deal if you like to play warrants.
Yeah, so here's the 4 hour. You can see there was a lot of volume. This was when they announced that offering. There was a
Yeah.
little bit more volume. But right now, I mean, this is completely bearish. I mean,
Well, if you
obviously,
think about it, if they have 8 million and they put on 4 million, that's 50% shareholder loss. So you've
yeah.
almost got to expect the stock to fall 50% to bear up to the new value. That's what happens. And I don't know, what is that drop? Is that more than 50% from where she was at?
Oh yeah, definitely
Oh
more
yeah.
than because it was around here like around the $2 mark, and now it's below one. So more than 50%. It just dropped a little bit more just now. It's like 86 cents. It was 86 and then some little bit more. Um, well, that says 8640, but this says 86. So not sure what it's doing after hours, but it's just completely bearish right now. If it breaks this, I mean, I'm not sure what's, I guess just completely die off. But I mean, it could definitely bounce here like it did before, way back here, the end of last year. So that would probably be the bottom. If it does bounce here, that would be a good buying opportunity if this does stay on the Nasdaq for a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, I didn't see, and you've got to go through either their press releases or their filings and see. I mean, how long have they been under a buck?
It was before, then it came back up, and then now it dropped
Well,
again.
they got to
So
stay down consistent for a certain amount of days.
consistently, just about like a week, not
So
even
yeah,
a little more
they're
than a
not in
week.
hot water. I mean, they shouldn't be that close to the edge, but they're in no
Yeah.
danger of getting any warnings right now.
Yeah, this happened last week. So this is what happened when they announced that offering. It just came and then gapped completely down. So it's been down for about a week. That's what's
Yeah,
happened there.
and I agree with you. There's a very strong possibility it could come down to that strong support right there. That just
Yeah,
makes sense. So I would look. I wouldn't get in yet. I'd wait to see if she changes trend or if she bounces. I'm betting she bounces myself.
I think so too. Yeah. But
All
it
right,
hasn't been around long enough to really see much more of that. It's just it hasn't even been around a year, this stock here.
and
That's
I
all the
think
data I
I
have.
think I mean what we were reading sounds good. You know, you got good products, you've got smart
Mhm.
eyewear, which you haven't seen a lot of out there yet. And
Mhm.
nobody wants these big old bloody goggles. There's got to be easier. Like I said, I just saw Snap-ons. So they've got excellent name brands, excellent product, great innovation. That is all investor sentiment because you just took away 50% of the value of my shares. And that pisses people off. That's like a 1 and 2 reverse split. It's basically the same thing. You've got the same amount of shares, but they're only worth half as much now. So you got to expect it to fall.
Yeah.
So is it a buying opportunity? Well, it's really at the same value. It really is. So you've just got to get more into the fundamentals of the company and see if you like where they're going and if you think their revenues are going to start growing. You got anything else to say about this one, Taylor?
That's about it for now. I mean, you
That's
can pretty
about
much
it.
see what's going on here.
Oh, how you doing? All right,
All
jump
right.
on over to Moni. I haven't had a chance to even bring this one up. This is being brought to us by the Underdog. I just had a picture of Underdog on one of my videos. You guys don't remember. It was a cartoon back in the 60s and 70s. All right, Moni, Moon Equity Holdings at 2.2 cents, lost about 3%. Pink Current, got those green ticks, looks okay. We got any description of the company and can we trust it? This Florida company was created with the focus on acquiring companies in the fintech, moving money digitally. Moni recently acquired BitGift platform, which is focused on crypto, blockchain technology, and DeFi, decentralized finance. Our goal is to offer services and products. Let's see if we've got any catalysts going on over here. Make sure we're looking at the current news. That's as current as we get right there. That was April. Yeah, April's the most current news. Moon Equity Holdings to sell BitGift. Okay. To Silo Wellness. I know Silo Wellness. That's another company on the open market. Selling it to Silo Wellness, ticker SILFF, an Oregon based psychedelic company. That's why I know it from my penny pot stock page. We talk about psychedelics and pot and everything else that's being legalized. So they were selling that for how much? For a Canadian sum of about $500,000. So that's the last bit of news they had. Was there anything close behind it? Selling binding letter with Part 135 Air Charter Company to acquire 100% of Moni. Moni signs binding. I have no idea what they're saying there. How can Moni acquire 100% of Moni? Is another company buying them out? Let me see. A binding memorandum of understanding with a Part 135 Air Charter Company. The company's been in business since June. Sign a binding letter with Part. So what the heck are you doing here? Company's able to provide. That's a little vague. Authorized. I'm not quite sure what the heck's going on here. It's a little vague to me. It sounds like they're going into a completely different type of business, some sort of air carrier. And it looks to me like they're buying them. They're buying Part 135 Air Charter Company. But like I said, it's pretty vague. See if we got any disclosures over here. We got no disclosure since 2010. How do you make a deal in or out? How do you sell something without filing an 8K? I'll tell you how, because you're pink. You don't have to file 8Ks if you're a pink. You know, I didn't know that. I just learned this the other day. It's when you start filing the 10 forms, the 10Ks, the 10Qs, the 10Gs. When you start filing those, then you got to file 8Ks. That's why we don't get a lot of 8Ks with pinks. What a shame. Let's see what the relative volume was on Moon. Yeah, she dropped today about 50%, just under 6 million to about 3 million. Financials for Moni? No money yearly, no money annually. They got any money? They got no money. Uh-oh. And I don't see Shell Company over here, and I don't see Shell Risk. I can't make heads or tails of some of this stuff. Was there anything else we needed? I think that pretty much covers the gamut here. I don't see the big appeal with Moni, but that's what I found. Maybe there's more on Twitter, maybe on Google. Let's take a look at that chart and see if it has any appeal. Let me get you on over there so you can show us, Lily. Oh my God, you did it
Not
again.
Lily.
Taylor, you know, if your picture was up there, it'd be a little easier. Just working in the dark.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, I didn't trade you yet. Goodness gracious. There you go.
The chart's looking pretty good. So this was back in April. It started. Now, see, if you did get in here, this is like what we were talking about before. See, this is starting to flatten out. We came up above the 200, came back down and retested it. And right before that, there's 2 golden crosses right there. Absolutely perfect entry right there.
This could be the next play for the stock we just looked at. It looks like the before, the huge run, got one before, and then it could come down and test and then bounce just like that.
Yeah. So this has just been following these 3 right here. So I think if we lose here, we could come back down. But as of right now, I mean, we're still just moving up. All these are not flat. We're still moving up. And if you did happen to get in here, that's almost a 100% move where it is now.
Another one.
Up here was a little bit more than 100%.
We're going to have you on the OTC, Taylor. You're going to say, God, another 100, another 100.
This is amazing. Yeah. I mean, this is a 100% move. This is a great entry right here. That was absolutely perfect. We got above here, retested, and then it's just, here we go. The volume's been a little bit higher than it was, say, back here. You know, it did come, there was that one day that it came back down to retest. There was a lot of selling volume, but ever since then, I mean, we still have pretty good volume. It's kind of tapering off a little bit now, but I see it coming down to
It looks
here,
like it's
maybe.
bouncing on that 50 all the way up the hill pretty
Mhm.
securely.
Yeah, it really has. So that would have been a perfect entry had we seen that.
And
Um,
that's what I look for in the videos. I'm always looking for it just underneath that 200, looking like that,
mhm.
looking like she's ready to go. And then you got to expect a surge, a drop, a bounce.
Yep.
It's not 100%, but it's 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, that would
Those
be
are
a
good
pretty
odds.
safe entry. Yeah, and you could have a tight stop on that. That's a pretty safe entry right there. An impulsive move, come back down to retest, and then continuation. That's
Another
what
one
I'm
to put
seeing
on the
anyway.
watch list. The
Yep.
volume is not been bad. I mean, she's
No, not
stronger than
bad.
normal. All right, we're going to jump into INQD by Keo or KO. Can never tell. Peekaboo again. Let's try that. This is INQD, Indoor Harvest Core. Now, what pops into my mind is cannabis because I've been writing about this company for years. It's all I've been for since 2018. I've been posting cannabis news. So if you really are into cannabis, I'm not trying to plug my Facebook page, but Penny Pot Stocks is on Facebook, and I've got news for these cannabis companies for 4 years. Put in the ticker, and I bet you I got more information than Google, easier to read because I'm just anal. I like to keep the information together. All right, what do we got going on over here? This is all old news, but let's see where we are. She is at a real low price, as a lot of cannabis companies are right now. Even the huge cannabis companies are in dire straits. Curaleaf, Curaleaf has got to be top five, at least top five, and she just got kicked off of the major exchange in the Canadian markets. Went down to their version of the OTC. Unbelievable. I mean, you're talking about a company doing more than $1 billion a year, I think, something like that. So there's still a lot of trouble going on around cannabis. I don't know why it is. And Canada's legal. So they don't have any of that BS we're going through down here. That's all old news there. We got one here from May 23rd. Somebody joins Indoor Harvest as a chief brand officer, bringing unparalleled experience to building an iconic consumer brand. They're branding themselves. Now I want to see, is this company, it's got to be American. Yeah. You don't do any branding in Canada. It's against the law to have a celebrity talk about your pot. It's against the law to have colored packages or pictures. It's got to look like a medicine bottle in Canada. So I could tell this was an American company right off the bat. Let's see what we got going on for relative volume. All right, we're going to find that catalyst. There's a reason this jumped from about 9 million to 67 million today. A cannabis company at this price. Now look, wow, she dropped 20%. See, a catalyst isn't always a good thing. There's got to be something going on here. 8K, this is the same date. This is probably the same news. Entered into an employment agreement, right? They got that new guy who came on board. Are you paying him too much? $5,000 a month. Not a bad salary, right? Not a bad salary at all. $5,000 a month. And all the dope you can smoke. Boy, oh boy, I like that job. I don't see anything else that's a catalyst. Financials, are they making any money? Really? Now that surprises me. How are you going to be an iconic brand if you're not making any money? You got to be selling something. People got to know who the heck you are. Where's the money? They made $7,000 last quarter. Something's wrong here. Again, this is a pink. They're using disclosures. Problem with pinks is you don't get a lot of information. That's the problem with pinks. They're the ghetto of the OTC. The OTC's got beautiful metropolitan areas. Go up to the QX. There's all kinds of lovely stocks up there that got all sorts of credentials. Down here on the pink, don't trust anybody. Don't trust anybody. Do more, as much DD as you possibly can. Was there anything else here? God, I'm looking at that news because Blue Harvest expands portfolio with the acquisition of 60% controlling interest in Meta Biogenics. All right, this is something. And what's that before that? Completion acquisition of 369 Hemp. They've got two acquisitions here, folks, and we don't have time to jump into these. and they need some money. So we need to find an acquisition that has revenue coming in already, so they can just plug in and bam, that company's revenue becomes this company's revenue. Just looking real close, let me see, during the close of the acquisition, Meta Biogenics received a valuation of $8.9 million. Did they say anything about revenues here? Just looking for numbers. I don't see any revenues in that one. Just taking a quick poke into the other one. I know there's a lot of other tickers here. Sorry, folks. 369 hemp market to reach. No, I don't see any of that there. And that's really what this company needs. Sounds like they've got things going on, but until you're making money, do you really have anything happening? So let's take a look at that chart. It looks like she had a huge fall today. Down at that price, though, it really isn't a huge fall. Yes, dear. I remember.
Yeah, it doesn't look too good.
Oh, my God.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
How many days was that?
So this relative high was around the beginning of May, like the first week of May. Ever since then, you can see, I mean, we're just following the 9 all the way down. And now it's the next support is not until 001. I mean, that's another 50% almost. But I mean, we went from like almost a penny, pretty close to a penny, all the way down to 0.0019. That's quite a big
So
drop.
You're on a weekly chart?
This is the daily.
Daily. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm looking to see about where correlate the date for me for this 8K, May 23rd.
Okay, May 23rd was around right here. This day, the doji here.
That's when they got this new guy to come on board. Looks like they don't like the new guy because there's no other news. There's no other filings. That was the last filing.
I was trying to look for, there's nothing here on TradingView either. So this day right here, I mean, it barely moved. I mean, it looked like, if you were here this day, it was like, it might be reversing. It did kind of come up a little bit, but it really didn't even get past this 9 EMA. Nope. It just came right back down. This is not good. Right, all the way. I mean, there's no support until here. The next support we're dating back to like November of 2020. So it is going to free fall. I would not be getting in this. Personally. I personally would not be jumping in right now. There's nothing holding this up at all.
And this is something I have learned, hard lesson, folks. We're talking about pinks here. I really want you to be very cautious with pinks. Pinks talk, and they talk up big games, great technology, great plans. And then all of a sudden it all falls apart. And you believed in them. You believed in that CEO. And next thing you know, you had $2,000 in this stock and it's worth $20 freaking down at 000 something. And there's nothing going on because they really had nothing going on. Look for facts. Look for another company getting with them, somebody else aligning with them, believing in them. Just don't take one company's press releases as gospel. Not on the pink.
Yeah, there's your weekly chart. So you can see a little more. I mean, we did have some support, but that's from way back when. So, I mean, that was way probably down. Yeah, so, I mean, that would maybe be my entry, but not right now. That's crazy. So I'm wondering what this news was.
I didn't see any catalyst. I don't see any appeal. Now, if you're already invested, man, I'm sorry. Because right now she seems to be in some sort of limbo without anything really going on. Look at those two deals. Maybe those two companies have got things developing that's going to change the direction for this company. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Jump on back. Why do I keep doing that?
You're good.
All right, the next one we wanted to look at, did I bring it up? I did. This was ENCZ. This is one of those ones, ZC, that I can definitely dyslexic. I did. Darn it. There you go, DC. Now, I am familiar with this ticker, but I'm going blank here. Enzolytics finished today just under a nickel, just about 6% gains. Another pink. Current, got our green ticks. That's all information that's validated behind the scenes. It's important. We like to see that there. So it looks good. Let's see, since we're already over here, we don't have anything since 2020, so we've got no activities being recorded here. Financials are all caught up. Let's check our news. Make sure it's current. Yeah, current is like today. The company reports amendments to a non binding term sheet with special purpose acquisition company, Saglin. All right, special purpose. We're talking about a SPAC here, folks, a $10 stock already up on the major exchange. They've already sold a bunch of shares, but they don't have a business. They're not making any money, and they've got all that money sitting in the bank from those shares. They're looking to do a merger with somebody who wants to go from being private to public or uplist from a lower class market up. And whoever they merge with gets that money in the bank. They get all that money. This is the best way to uplist. You don't need to do a reverse split. You don't have to pay for it all yourself. You get paid and you get the ticker. So it looks like that's their plan here, which would be brilliant. That would be outstanding. This is a drug development biotech company, and the SPAC announced today they have agreed to an amendment to the executed non-binding term sheet for the sale of Biogenesis and Virogenetics operating subsidiaries to the company. Doesn't sound like a merger to me. Somebody's buying something. The parties have agreed to make a whole calculation 6 months. Under the term agreement, BGEN and Viro will become wholly owned subsidiaries of Saglin, currently trading on the NASDAQ. Interesting. I don't know if this ticker is going to remain here. It sounds like they're going to just sell 2 of their subsidiaries, and they're going to, this company, the SPAC, is going to spin these out. Very interesting. I would need to do some more research here because I've not seen this sort of situation before. And combined purchase price is $500 million for all of this. Any other news we got over there? As if that's not big enough. Update on Virginics African project. Yeah, they've got more news. You can read into this. I'm always careful about any of these deals over in Africa because they're tough to do DD on. They're tough to validate. Pinks like to talk about a lot of activities going on in countries you can't access information to. You can't verify a manufacturer is actually there making something. I've tried. You can't do it. So I shy away now unless they can prove to me they're making money in that country. I'll wait until I see you making some money. Speaking of making money, is this company doing anything? No, not making any money. No, they got nothing coming in. Are they holding any money? They got $156,000 in the bank. Total assets $1.3 million. Total liabilities $5.6 million. Relative volume around the company today was a little stronger. Now, she is a nickel. Now, this is the sort of thing I would think you'd see on a 000 stock, because there's not a lot going on, but she's got things happening. Now, I don't know. Is she going to get that $500 million? Probably going to get that $500 million for the subsidiaries. So they're not making revenues, but they're going to have more money to throw in the bank. What are they going to do with that money? Now we're talking cash flow. What are their plans? We know what the SPAC is going to do. They're going to spin them out. Maybe you want to watch them. Watch the warrant. Watch the warrant on that. That could get some activity because of it. That's a penny stock too. I'm talking for the SPAC. But this one, I don't know. They're going to sell all that they've got, be left with a pocket full of money and no business. So I would check out what they're doing in Africa. Maybe they've got some real activity going on over there because now they got a lot of money to work with. Disclosures, anything bonus over here? Oh no, that was old. We looked at that, I think. Share structure. All right, scary because we're at a nickel. Doing a reverse split at a nickel can accumulate to something. If they wanted to get on to the NASDAQ, which I don't think they're going to, we don't see any independent directors over here. You cannot uplist until you see independent directors over here. So don't worry about that. But if they did, they could get up to the NASDAQ for $3 if they went to the bare minimum for what? 60. A 1 in 60 reverse split. And they've got 2.6 billion shares. It could easily handle 60. It could handle 600. It could handle 6,000. And that'll take a lot of your shares away. So always be careful about that. All right, let's take a look at that chart. Well, why do I tell you? I'm the guy with the button.
I'm here. I got it up. Okay, so I must have already looked at this because I have a line drawn up here. So, well, It did come up here, came right back down.
You
So I'm
draw your
looking at,
line from the day you look at it.
I don't see, I was looking at that. I'm not sure what day this was, or if I was just saying this
Because
is
I
like
always
the
start
next
my lines, unless I'm drawing a support line. A support
Yeah,
line goes
it
straight
might
back
have
to
been a
where you go.
resistance line. I don't know if it
Yeah.
was before this or if it was after. I'm not sure, but it was on there. So this is probably just a long-term
Wow, and it
resistance
hit it
support.
hard, didn't it?
Yeah. So I'm not sure when that was, but I'm looking at this 200 MA like we've been talking about. It is trying to get over this. This is the daily chart, by the way. So, you know, dipped below that, came up, and it's below it, and look, it's hit its head like 3 times now. We're going to have to push above and retest if we're going to come back up here. And now the volume did come up, like we did have an increase of volume today, but it's relative to what it was before. It's like half of what it was when we were doing this. We were on this big run, you know. So
Yeah.
we're going to have more volume, but this definitely has potential because it's right around that 200, and all these are converging again. This definitely has potential to run, especially if there's been good news coming, or if there's anticipation of good news coming, because a lot of times this is a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. So I mean, it's like that in regular stocks too, not just OTC, from my experience anyway. So we have another catalyst that can increase this volume a bit. We could definitely have another run like that. I don't see why it couldn't. We just had one. This
Yeah,
was
we
in
need to
the
look
beginning of
at
May.
that news about Africa. I jumped on it with a negative slant. It could be a great thing going on over there. They could
Mm-hmm.
have something really in the works that $500 million is meant for. So they may have a nice plan going here. They're not willy-nilly. So do some more research. We can only go so deep here.
I mean, this does have potential. It's right around the same area where it was consolidating before this big
Yep,
run, right
very
here.
strong support.
From here to here, like right around this area, like a consolidation area,
Yeah.
here to here. We're right in that area.
Right. You
Right
wouldn't
on.
expect it to come down. You look at that chart and say, of
Yeah.
course it's going to go up.
Yeah. I mean, this has potential. It's not completely dumping off. It's still right around this consolidation area. It might bounce around here for,
Profit
another
taker.
month. Who
I mean,
knows?
come on. That was a huge run. You have to expect people who have been in it for a while and it wasn't moving to get some money out of this market.
Yeah.
We all need that money.
Yeah, I mean, it's right here. It came up. I mean, we're green today. It's really not completely selling off, and plus we had some more volume, probably a triple that it's been relative to the day. So this definitely has potential in my mind. I mean, unless we completely dump off below here, down in here. But I mean, from here, even the bottom of this, from here to here, that's triple. That's what 200%. I mean, that's amazing if we got that again. That's insane, actually. So,
We'll
but
get
it's
you down
normal.
there.
It's normal.
It's funny because that's what we're looking for down
Yeah.
here on the OTC. 20% is nice. That's worth your efforts. But
Hmm.
we're looking for those runs that fall back down just like you got in front of you. We are looking for those rockets, and the training is training ourselves to not be greedy. Not be
Yeah.
greedy because you don't know where the ceiling is. I always like to scale out, but on the OTC, it's expensive to scale out. If you're paying
Right.
$4 to $7 for every sale, unless you really put a ton of money in, you're
Right.
losing profits. And a lot of us are only putting in $400 or $500, So you
Right.
start scaling out. It's like that's $4, that's $7, that's $7. And if you scaled in, it really there's $60 from scaling in and scaling out. That's why I
Hmm.
love those major exchange stocks.
I think if your average is around here, anywhere between these two lines, I would just hang on to it if that's in your trading plan, to hang on to something for a little bit, because we could definitely see another run. Absolutely. Especially with this volume coming up.
There you
Yeah,
go,
I
folks.
like it. I like it in this area right here.
I see we've got a lot of discussion here about, let me see if I can get us up. There you go. A
Hmm.
lot of discussion about the NNDM, that
Hmm.
nano 3D printing, comment after comment. I see a few of them from Samuel Martin, but that's okay. Yeah, it was one of the first stocks we looked at. Matter of fact, it was the first one.
It
And we
was.
were impressed as well that they make these circuit boards in one run and they can put this machine in homes and offices. And I'm sure they'll find other uses for it. And 3D printing, I mean, you don't need a factory. You don't need multiple machines. It's so
Hmm.
simplistic. And let me tell you what, if you can create entire circuit boards like that, that's going to make obsolete the way we do it. Nobody's going to want to do them the way we've been doing them. It's just, I mean, have you ever seen it's ridiculous. It's a lot of work. I'm intrigued. I'm going to do some more research. Matter of fact, I may put that on my short list as one of the stocks I cover in my videos. It
Okay.
does look very interesting. We only had one other stock here that got mentioned, and I'll just poke in on this because I don't want to leave anybody out. We are right at that 5 o'clock mark right now. HNRC. I'm not happy with this company, but I'll talk about it. HNRC had a spin out a while ago. They were giving us shares for WDHI. It all began back in December. They were going to distribute those shares in December, but they didn't. And then we went into an eternal wait. And when we finally got our shares, we found out just days before that they were restricted and unregistered, which wasn't what we had really bargained for. Now, they are supposed to register them because WDHI is supposed to be on the market. I don't think it's on the market yet, is it? Nope, still not on the market. So those shares are still restricted. So you're holding something that should become valuable someday. That wasn't the deal we had planned. How many companies give shares in a company that spun out and isn't out? I mean, it's like counting your chickens before the eggs hatch. So I don't know what would happen there. A lot of people got upset about that. They're holding shares now that they couldn't cash in. Everybody wanted to make money. Sell those shares and get their money. You can't do nothing. So I was one of those people. I got out as soon as I found out that they were restricted shares. Now I heard they were doing another spin out, and I thought it was actually a SPAC. I think they were doing a SPAC spin out. HNRC acquires interest in CE Energy, which was their last big piece of news. They've been getting these energy companies, getting different ones of them. HNRC acquires 40% interest in Rhino Energy. HNRC announces WDHI listing. What? That's back in February. Ha! It still isn't listed. See, you can't trust the news. And this is a pink. See what I'm talking about? You got to really check the information. H&R dividend review completed. That was April. We're still not happy. I don't see anything here outside of CE Energy, which was a while ago. But I do remember reading somewhere in all of my readings that they were going to spin out another, which is one of the reasons I liked HNRC. They wanted to keep spinning out different companies. That's what they said they've done, and they're going to keep doing. And WDHI was going to do the same thing: accumulate companies, acquiring them, build them up, incubate them, and then spin them out. And it's like, heck yeah, I'll stick with HNRC if they're going to keep having this happen. Not if that's the way they do their deals. I'm not hanging around. We got no new filings, and we've got all the quarterly reports. May want to jump into the most recent quarterly report, though I don't think you're going to get any new information out of that. It did come out in May, but it only goes up to March, and our news goes up past that. So I don't see anything new here right now. Now, did you make some comment over here about HNRC that I didn't see? I think you guys missed my first request. I did not. Let's take a look at HNRC. I know I am so used to Lily doing this. She has
Yeah,
me.
I'm sorry about that. It's
It
not
ain't
looking
your
too
fault.
good.
It ain't your fault.
Um, you know, it comes up on these big spikes in volume and then just falls right back down. It's happened several times.
That
I
right
mean,
there. What date
yeah,
is that big drop right there?
this one,
Yeah.
it started at the end of last year, December 2022, and ended early March of this year.
All right. Yeah. So we were supposed to get our shares December 28th. They didn't come through.
Yeah.
Everybody sold off. Those that were going to make profit and those that were just pissed. Everybody sold off.
But then here's another one of those gap up. You know, we gapped up from here to here in April. And of course, it came right back down and filled that gap. And now we're just completely, it'll have these little bit when the volume comes up. But right now, I mean, I don't like this at all unless we get back down to maybe like 0.06. It might bounce off of here. Other than that, right now, I don't really love it. Look at these. This is the daily chart. So this is the 9, 21, 50, 200, all completely underneath them all. Not looking too good. Bearish. So I don't know that, but it does have some news here. I'm not sure if this is what you were saying before. Registration statement for 100 million special purpose acquisition. I'm not sure. That was a couple weeks ago. There's some news here about.
Though, I'm looking at this. It looks like the CE Energy acquisition that we were talking about is what they're spinning out onto the market. They are buying it and spinning it right out. And it says it intends to list this CE Energy acquisition in 2023. They don't give us any more date than that. So, yeah. and they say they're going to be providing more stock dividends in 2023 and 2024 for other SPACs that they are planning on throwing out there. That all came out June 13th.
Yeah, that's what this is. And there's no real article here. It's just, these are just the headlines it's showing. It's the same thing that you were talking about. So there's nothing new that I'm seeing either.
So are these bounces correlated to the news then specifically?
I'm not sure because I don't know what the news was in like April 25th. Was there news that day? Because this was a huge bounce.
April 25th.
All the way up to 43 cents.
April 25th. Yes. HNRC dividend review completed.
Nice. So it went up to 40%. Yeah. So that's what this was. And then from then just came right back down. But there's been like little ones like this must have been that date, June 13th. It did come up a little. There was a little bit more volume. But since then, not much. It's just kind of fading off. What about March 7th? Was there something? There was a big, that must have been where their earnings came out, but I don't see anything. Right 7th. Here there was. They announced.
I can't go. Hold on here, maybe. Yeah, HNRC reports record results for period ending. Yep, they had news come out that day. Yeah, so that's something we can learn about this stock. It responds to news on that day. Get the heck out. The next day, it's gone.
Absolutely, because it did right here when it announced this earnings here, came up quite a bit, lots of volume. And then the next day it just comes right back down. But you do have at least one day to get out because come up here.
That's perfect for day traders, which is a lot of the people watching me. We're looking for stocks that are going to run, and so we can get the heck out and play another one. It's like a slot machine sometimes. This one's not hot. I'm moving over to the one over there.
Yeah. Yeah, it lost.
Yeah, she's not looking good, and I think people are upset with her because the last dividend did not go well. They dragged it out for months and months and months, and there was a lot of tweets about it, a lot of anger. And even though you're waving candy in front of the investors again, I don't think they want to get into that bear trap because all those dividends were profit people were counting on. And now it's just sitting over there in dead paper, which you never know if it'll ever come alive. They can tell you it's going to, but when? I want my money now. So it's frustrating as heck. So personally, I honestly don't care what kind of news HNRC comes out. I'm just speaking for me. I won't get back in because I had a bad experience with them. I don't trust the management. And that's what makes or breaks any company, the management. Can you trust them? Because that's who you're giving your money to, not the company, the people. All right, I think we've pretty much gone beyond our limit. Oh, I turned you off.
I'm here.
Thanks, folks. We're only a little bit over. And it looks like we actually covered everybody. And NNDM does look like one that was hot. The other one was by Velmore. That one is definitely worth considering. That was RMRK. Lucy, I think Lucy also had something to promote. So I appreciate you guys bringing us stocks that we may not look at, stocks that I may want to play. You know what I'm doing here? I'm using you to fish. I'm trying to find good plays with your eyeballs. You get them from me all week. It's only fair I get a couple from you. So thank you, Velmore. You've been doing very, very well. I'll put you on my Christmas list. You'll get a card this year. Anything from you, Taylor?
No, I appreciate you having me. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm glad you came. Lily had some good things to do. She didn't have any bad problems, nothing she had to tend to in a negative way. She's having some fun right now.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
she'll be back whenever she's done having fun. In the meantime, Taylor is always here for us, and we love your
Yep.
charting. I
Fast to volunteer this time. I was like, "Yep, I'm back. I'm ready to do this.
Yeah, I
Let's
was amazed at how quick he did that. It's like, of course. And your
Yeah.
charting is different than everybody else's. That's what I love about each person's charting. Not a one of us does it the same. It's like making spaghetti sauce. No
Yeah.
two people do it the same, and they're all good. They're
Yeah.
all
It's
good.
all right.
Thanks, folks. We will see you next week, same place, same time. Maybe the same people. You never know, but we'll be here for you. See ya. Have a good time, folks.
Bye.